Awesome. Okay, let's stick with that theme, and then let's add some storytelling now, because I think that's what interests people the most. And we'll kick off a question and answer segment, not too long, but still long form, and you give as much detail as you want.
Hey, mate.
Yeah, AMA with you. Ask us anything, but we're running it. So, think of the times in your life, moments that gave you the utmost confidence.
Wow.
Like even like an actual moment where you could pin it down, like, wow, the feeling I had at that moment. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
I've said this one before. This was interesting. I took a Toastmasters class. It was the first one I ever went to. Didn't know the structure, and they started out with the word of the day, and they encouraged you to use it in all of the exercises that you did in that segment, that session. And the first segment of any Toastmasters is table topics, where you learn off the cuff speaking for a minute. And I just instinctively used the word of the day, and it made me feel like I'm a natural at this. I was not, it was nervousness to do it. Very excited.
Yeah.
Did my minute table topic speech off the cuff. They give you a topic, and I vaguely remember. I think it's a speeding ticket, and was the word of the day kind of thing. And then I used it in the table topics. And then at the end, they give out awards for best speaker, best judge, best table topics. And I got best table topic. I was like, I didn't even know they had this. And I get why they do that, because I received it, and the feeling I felt was like, holy smokes. Like, not only in here can I accomplish, the levels of communication and the speeches, but when I leave from here, this skill is going to help me, do whatever I wish to do. I remember the moment, and I remember thinking like, wow. So that was so cool.
That is amazing.
I need more of that, like, I think winning is important, and I think back to like, wow, I even back then, I think I was 23 years old, something like that.
Yeah. Oh man, that was beautiful.
It's not so long ago.
I do remember. You need to remember that more. That's all. You just need to come back to that. That's the cookie jar method. I can't remember the Marine that made that up, but if you just YouTube him, he's got he was like,
remember that
Afghanistan or something. He's like, how to in like the worst conditions he's gonna die and this. And then he's like, well, everyone's like, how did you survive? He's like, well, I just used cookie jar method. I was like, what? It's like, well, you just keep remembering a time that you want, and then your brain, that's where I got that from. Your brain's going to eventually, it's going to conform to that memory and produce that result in the now. I'm like, what? I just kind of clean. I made it more sciencey than he explains it. He explains it in like a minute and 30. I was like, oh, that's what's happening in your brain.
That was him in the military?
Yeah. Well, no, this was his own. This is why he was, I guess, notarized for, noticed for his something. I can't remember, but I just remember going, okay, this Marine's talking about a cookie jar. I need to understand the philosophy of what's going on here.
Makes perfect sense, yeah.
It does.
While on that thought, Man's Search for Meaning is a book I actually haven't read. It's been recommended to me. I do believe it's a book of interviews of Holocaust survivors, and it was breaking down their reasons for wanting and to continue to live, their will to live. And some was revenge, some it was for their family, some it was all the different things that motivated them to endure the brutal, life-threatening conditions. And Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. So it made me think of that. That's interesting.
Wow.
Reaching for the cookie jar. Same.
Yeah.
And then I heard another method of like squeezing your thumb inside your hand. to activate that moment. So if I were to associate
Ah,
this with that
gotcha.
Toastmasters moment every time,
Right.
anytime that I am in a situation where I need to activate it,
Yeah, you just
squeeze your thumb and
boom.
it will give you that feeling, and then you can like carry on the way that you want to. So it's
Yeah,
interesting.
that was really cool.
Did you give me yours yet? No.
I
So
didn't,
moment
and
that you got.
I finally got it.
Okay,
I was
let's hear
thinking
it.
like, I'm like, because I don't have.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I do, but I'm like, that's. But the real, the one that felt good to me when I thought about it was like, oh yeah, I want more of that. It's like you, so I can't even. I'll explain what it is, and I'll give you an example. So it was like when you think something into existence. This is going to sound weird. When you think, because I'm on this thing where I'm like, no, like your thoughts, everything starts in your thoughts, right? It's hermetics. It begins in thought and it ends up as your destiny. You know, that Lao Tzu quote again, genius. I'm like, okay, so if what I want begins in thought, my experience begins in thought. The end of it, if what you're telling me is accurate, is I need to look at all these different stages and I should be able to predict with certain accuracy what the end result is. And so what gives me confidence is when that happens. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I thought about that. Yeah, like look what I did. Like like steps are involved. Yes, like there was stages and layers to it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, no, I thought about that. Like that was all me. Like, yes,
Yeah. When you dedicate yourself to something and it actually happens.
and it just comes to fruition,
Right.
manifests. It's like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. And I think the well, this is interesting, and
Okay.
this is a small example of it. Is I remember I applied for this writing program, and I'd been rejected by a bunch of them. I was like, ah, whatever. Like,
Oh, okay.
and this one, I just didn't care. I was like, I can't even remember what I wrote, but I remember the feeling of like, whatever. Like, it's not even gonna. I don't care.
Wow.
I completely forgot about it, and I remember getting a call. Um, we were at the Christmas market, night market in
Oh,
Toronto, and I got the call about it. I was like, I had not thought about it until that moment. I was like, no way. That's so crazy. I thought about that shit, and here it is. I want more of that. It's like the odds of me getting it were very slim. I gotta say, it was just kind of like, man, I don't. There's no way I'm gonna get this. But if I did, it'd be cool. Ah, who cares? It was that kind of attitude, right? And I
right.
just, but it was me wanting a goal, having a desire, and thinking about a problem that my mind needed to solve. But I completely forgot about. My mind was like, all right, do it like this. So I submitted. I forgot about it, and the solution really was be hopeful, have faith. So I realized I was like, oh yeah, like I thought I was like, it'll work out. Like whether or not I get in, yeah, it'll be fine. And then it totally was. I was like, oh, this is what I wanted.
Right. I think that's the
That's
best.
what I love.
Yeah. That's that a feeling of accomplishment's really the best feeling.
It
And I
is.
guess that's the point when I'm coming to realize is because that one that I shared was so long ago. I'm like, I don't know if I missed. Yeah, I guess I missed that, but I want to set myself up to have more of those.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's making
Yes.
me think of other moments actually now that I jotted down. But there, I can think of seminal moments in my life where I activated topics or new ways of thinking that were changed my life right from that moment and gave me the
Wow.
confidence to know that I could do something. And then when you learn a thing and you're excited about it, then you do the thing and it and occurs, like those two things together, it's just
Yeah, yeah. It's like,
in control, right, of your
yes,
life.
yeah,
And
yes, absolutely.
I think, unfortunately, especially in the COVID time frame, it's like people become less hopeful of that, and forgetful that you
Yeah,
can have these things and aspire to do them. So
yeah,
having this conversation, because it's been a reminder for me, and hopefully it's a reminder to our listeners, and that they can do more of the same thing.
absolutely. And hopefully that during this time, this interesting and unprecedented time, people aren't losing hope, and that yes, in the words of Red from Shawshank Redemption,
Yeah.
hope is a dangerous thing, absolutely. But he learned that hope was also a beautiful thing. So it's like,
Yes.
yeah, even these times when everybody's going one way, everyone's going towards hopelessness. It's like, no, I'm going to stand for hope. I'm going to be hope. Why not? Like, who else is going to do it? Right?
Well, I begin
Stand
to
for,
identify where people's insecurities come through, and I have a feeling like many, as we age, just give up entirely on what it was that we used to desire, right? Like, so I'm identifying the different keys or things that people do and behaviors that they have that are so telling of, like, okay, are they on the right path? Are they pursuing the right path, or have they just given up on their goals?
yes,
So
yes. You can always tell by the tone of their speech. You
yes,
can see if they're using a lot of
the tone.
yes, yes, exactly. A huge indicator of where their thoughts are. You're like, okay, you're on the negative side. I get it. I get where you are.